Welcome to Pub Talk, the unofficial official craft beer podcast of Oklahoma, where we're all about the three B's, beer buddies and bullshit. I'm Jeremy, and I'm joined as always by a guy who will put it all on the line for episode 299, Michael.
Hello, hello.
On today's show, we're going to kind of do a special retrospective look back at where we've been, and we'll look forward to where we're going and talk a lot about episode 300 and our 300th episode beer. If you like what you hear today, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Give us a follow on social media at Pub Talk Podcast. Check out our website, pubtalkpodcast.com. And yeah, I guess let's get started with first round.
You know, they brew 10,000 bottles of beer a day. I drink 45 off the assembly line, and I'm the asshole.
Are you drinking anything today?
I am. I'm not going to cut myself off completely. I'm just going to cut myself off from my favorite types of beers. So like a bunch of adjunct shit and those IPAs that are fucking delicious. I wanted to pick up that Coop Sonic Seltzer shit, but I guess maybe it's not out yet. I couldn't find it anywhere. I'm not on Facebook, so I couldn't follow up to see.
It's available the 18th.
It's the 18th? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so today is the 12th.
Right on. So I'll probably pick some of them up whenever that comes out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
It's healthy and whatnot, I guess. But I am drinking a beer. This one is from Green Cheek Beer Co. out of Orange, California. It is called Beyond All Reason. It says it's a West Coast Pils. What makes
Spoilers.
a Pils? Hey, there we go. Spoilers. Yeah, West Coast Pils. It says to drink while smiling. Cool can. Little green bird. Picked this up from some beer meal group or something on Facebook a few weeks back. So I guess I'll be missing out on those going forward. It's hoppy. It says it's a hoppy lager, 5.6 ABV. That's what it looks like. It is clear as fuck. In my glass. I love this fucking glass.
That's awesome.
Hopbane.
That's awesome.
Dreek Customs. He makes cool, weird shaped glasses and stuff. Heavy, awesome, awesome glass. And the beers. It's fucking good. I mean, it's just that is a hoppy Pilsner.
Well, okay.
Maybe I won't miss those IPAs too much if I get more like this. Yeah, that's fucking good. I don't think there's much more to say about that other than it's crispy boy. It's delicious. I don't know what the fuck I would rate that. So I'll go with a 4. I mean, it's good. Fuck it. Why not?
Right on.
My ratings mean nothing. It's good.
They mean something. Everyone that listens to this show does it because we give such intricate and detailed beer reviews, and we are seasoned beer judges who yada yada jerk off motion.
You should drink this. There we go. What are you drinking?
Oh, I have 3 beers in front of me.
Right.
It's been that kind of day. Plus, I was indecisive. Plus, I didn't have anything that I hadn't talked about on the show in some capacity before. So I was like, fuck it. 303 beers.
Right on.
So I have salted caramel Temptress from Lakewood Brewing from our trip to Texas a few weeks ago. I'm not going to necessarily get real deep into each of these just because they've all been on the show before, I think. But it's good. Kind of a mid-level stout, I would say. I say that. What's the ABV on this? 9.1. Yeah, I mean, it's not double digit at least. I've also got a can of our 300th beer. This isn't Sparta. 7.8 IPA. 6 different types of hops. 5 different types of hops. Something like that. From Broken Arrow Brewing Company. And then probably the one I'll spend a little time talking about. Also got Ticker IPA from Marshall Brewing. I think this is Ticker. It's whatever the latest Ticker is. I just picked it up a couple weeks ago. 6.0 single hop IPA. So, yeah. I'll spend most of my time probably drinking the two IPAs, but yeah, I needed something to make me forget about work before we start recording. So that's where the Temptress comes in.
It's good. I like that one.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. Let's just say they're all God territory. They're all above a 4. Fuck it.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so we talked about it a little bit on the last episode. There's a lot of life stuff happening for both Michael and I as we speak the last couple weeks and coming up for the next couple weeks. So it's made it a little difficult to get guests on, honestly, just to scheduling wise and stuff. And so the Beer Cat bread episode that we talked about last week is being postponed probably till sometime in June or this summer anyway. Just couldn't quite make it happen. Everybody knows I'm at this point, I could be a day away, I could be an hour away, I could be a week away from being a dad. So I'm kind of I don't know. Yeah. I don't have to explain that to people that have been there. But anyway, yeah, just our scheduling with guests is we're probably looking into June at this point before we'll get back to doing some more spotlight episodes. That's excluding episode 300 because most of that is already in the can. But just kind of let everybody know, we might, after episode 300, we might take a couple week break. I don't know. We may do some episodes like this. We may not. I don't fucking know what to expect. That's despite everyone that I've ever met giving me advice, including forget about beer and your podcast. You're fucked.
This one still made it through mine somehow.
No, I don't have any concerns about us not being able to do the show and stuff other than the first little bit. But so for episode 299, we thought rather than making episode 300 super long and doing it all there, we would take this episode, especially since the only real beer news this week has been the release of the Brewers Reunion IPA, which I have had and is delicious. But that we would just take episode 299 to kind of look back on our spotlight episodes, the history of the show, where things have been, where they're going, reminisce a little bit, hopefully laugh a little bit, and onward, I guess, after episode 300.
Yeah.
And we should start off with, so we're recording this on the 12th. So if you listen to this in the first couple of days, it's published. You should have a chance. Broken Arrow Brewing, the release of our 300th episode beer, This Isn't Sparta, is the Saturday, the 15th at noon. Of course, they're open all the way till 11 o'clock that night. I will be there probably 2-3 hours at the start of the day. Michael, I think you're planning to make an appearance at least.
They're beginning to get some footage. Be there at least probably an hour.
Okay. So we'll have some glassware for the first couple dozen people. There'll be a couple hundred stickers on hand. So if you get there early, you can grab some of that swag. And, I would say that beer will last a couple days. I wouldn't count on it being there a real long time. Heard from quite a few folks that plan on getting up there and getting it. So, check it out. And if you're there those first couple hours on Saturday, come say what's up.
And I actually need to try that fucking beer. I should have taken some home yesterday if they fucking had it in cans.
He said he would have canned it.
I didn't even think about it. In such fucking rush.
Yeah.
I will throw out there real quick. We're in Pulp Fiction. 27th birthday of that movie. Felt super fucking old when I saw that earlier today. 27 damn years. One of my favorite movies of all time.
You knew this, but we're old as fuck.
Well, yeah. Reminded every day when my body goes.
Well, and I'll throw out there, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts in my free time anymore. I don't have said free time anymore. But I do still listen to some wrestling podcasts, and this year was 20 years since WrestleMania 17, which was the WrestleMania year that I graduated high school. And for anyone listening that's a wrestling fan, it was the one with the main event was Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, where Austin turned to a bad guy or whatever. And man, it didn't feel like that was 20 years ago.
Shit's wild.
That was like when The Rock started acting. He's been an actor that long now. Well, I guess we'll just get started with. I guess one of the things that this show has inadvertently turned into is like kind of a vehicle for learning. I think for both of us, yeah, for the listeners, but also for both of us. Which when the podcast started and it was dick jokes and crazy news, that seemed improbable. But I'm curious, like what you've learned from the podcast, you know, if it's beer, if it's podcast stuff, if you have any thoughts on that.
Well, shit, definitely learned a lot about the production side of it. I'd never really edited a fucking thing before the podcast. And then, you know, I did some editing in the beginning of it and learned that I love it. And it's actually correlates into what I'm trying to and doing now as a career is the editing process behind it. I love all that. And I just remember like when we first started doing it, like getting some random fucking software and just trying to figure out how to do it. And it became really, really, really fucking fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll throw out there. Yeah. I mean, I of course had a personal Facebook and Twitter and whatever, but all I did was type words into a box and hit send. I had to learn how to properly use social media through the course of this podcast. In the early days, we did a lot of promotion on Twitter. There was just more engagement there, and then that shifted to Instagram, and weirdly, it now kind of seems like it's kind of gone back the other way, and Twitter's coming back, probably because Trump's not on there, and Facebook's always kind of been about the same level, but. You know, I don't even know if stories were a thing back then, but I definitely remember having to learn how to do an Instagram story, having to learn how to integrate the accounts, having to learn what a couple different acronyms mean, stuff like that. And even back, and of course it's not a thing now, but like when we were dabbling with Periscope and some of that crap, it's just that stuff and trying to keep up with what's going to keep folks that are drinking age, you know, those early drinking years engaged. Don't get me wrong, our demographic's significantly older than that, but there are some.
Speaking of fucking social media, I'd use I don't know if you've ever used it, the Wayback Machine online. It can pull up old sites, and I pulled up my old MySpace page from when I was fucking 24. Tried to find Cardboard Homer on there and shit, couldn't find it. But that would have been funny to see it. But on that page, like general interests, I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan. Can't wait until they get back to the Super Bowl and get that 6th ring.
Still waiting.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at that and just seeing how different. That's probably the most I ever got into social media until we started doing this.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I kind of forget about that almost. Like, yeah, I use that too much when I was at the bar.
Right. There's so much. It's fucking ridiculous. You didn't have a drinking problem.
Well, it's not a problem unless you want to change it, I guess. But I mean, and then obviously, like, we've learned a fuckload about beer through this whole thing.
Sure.
I remember, you know, if you go back and listen to some of those early Spotlight episodes, why does the beer taste so much better from the cow's tit? Talking about taproom draft versus, bottles and this and that, and asking the first several industry people we interviewed that, making one of them uncomfortable, I think. You said tit. Did you listen to the show before you got on the show? No, you didn't. There are things now that we asked folks back then, or that maybe we just didn't know and we didn't ask, but we've learned that make me feel real dumb when I look back. And even, and this was a couple of years before we started interviewing people, but even like, did you ever check the ABV on a beer before you ordered a beer at a bar before our Prairie Bomb night or birthday bomb night?
No, that might have been smart.
Clearly it would have been, but I couldn't understand how 6 beers wrecked me. Right. And in case you're keeping track, yes, that means that I had 6 Prairie Bombs in a sitting, Prairie Birthday Bombs in a sitting in like 2015 or whatever that was. And didn't realize they were 13%. So yeah, lesson learned.
Yeah. Well, I learned my lesson, because I'm sure it happened multiple times after that.
I learned that if I'm going to attempt to go somewhere after that, I should probably drink 4% beer.
There you go. Yeah, I don't think I can think of all the different things I've learned about beer, because I knew nothing about it. Just pounded shitty beer before the podcast. Even probably when we started.
In the early days, man.
Yeah. And just keep learning more. I mean, even as recent as this latest the 300th episode, getting to brew the beer and shit, learning all that goes into it makes you just enjoy the beer even more.
Yep.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
This beer's so good. Slow down, I don't have 3 of them. I'm gonna have to get another one. And I haven't had 2 in the day in a fucking minute.
I'm not trying to peer pressure you. I know you got shit going on. Okay, so another thing I wanted us to talk about was just favorite moments related to the podcast. And when I say that, I mean not necessarily something, or at least it doesn't have to be something that happened on air, so to speak, because anytime we do one of these episodes, there's more that happens before and after the microphones are on than does while they're on. Not to mention however long it takes us to drive to the place, so forth.
Think about that one.
Well, okay, so I'll throw something out there, and I won't name names, but I think it's funny. Initially, like, boy, and even still sometimes now, folks in the industry love to say shit like, "Oh yeah, we're all friends. We all love each other. There's no bad blood between anyone. Everything's great, and we're all a big family." And da 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 da. Not true. I mean, it is true to a degree. I believe that if someone needed ingredients, if someone needed advice, this kind of thing, they are going to help one another. But some of my favorite moments have come when we shut the microphones off and everybody's had a couple beers, and all of a sudden the tongues have loosened and the shit talk starts. And it's always, there are a couple of popular subjects of said shit talk. Use your imaginations and you'll probably be correct. But I enjoy those moments. For better or worse, that's always been one of the ways that I have bonded with other humans, is through shit talking.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the one that keeps coming to my mind, but it's not necessarily in that vein. I guess it wasn't on one of our episodes. I'm going to throw out us getting to go on Jason's podcast for his 100th episode, from a basement in Tulsa.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite podcasts when he was doing it and getting to go on stage at the Woody Guthrie Center.
Yep.
Something like that. Actually, I got the thing right there.
Yay.
100th episode. It was fun getting to go up there because we damn sure weren't doing anything like we're doing now back then. And sitting up in front of a crowd of people, and
Yeah.
I'm sure there was we weren't allowed to fucking cuss. I just remembered that. The asshole told us not to cuss. And then that dude
and then the next guest is like, fuck that.
That was an awesome fucking moment that a lot of our guests, a lot of people listening to us now probably don't even know about.
Yeah. I think we definitely still have listeners from back then, but we have way more listeners than we did back then, and a lot of folks who maybe listened for the dick jokes back then have cycled out for folks that listen for the beer now. But
God, that he wrote. God, I wish it would. But he even put on here, thank you for the extra hugs. We owe you so many F-bombs.
And I'm pretty sure we went back on and cashed in on that on a later episode.
Good fucking times.
Because fuck telling us to not fucking cuss.
I remember being legitimately upset. Like, I had to fight not cussing up there.
Yeah.
But you could feel that being up there too. It's like, don't cuss. Well, then that means I can't talk.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it made all of us not talk as much as we probably would have, because it's like, I don't know what, even aside from cussing, I don't know what to say that's not inappropriate.
Right. Yeah, good times.
I think that was 5 years ago.
God damn.
What about the forward-looking people that maybe we really want to get on the show that we haven't had on yet?
See, that's a tough one for me. In the past, I did have people that I really wanted to get on the show, and I don't think I'm in that boat anymore. I want to talk to everybody. Anybody that has anything to do with this industry would be awesome to get on the show to talk with, as long as they want to be on the show. I think I'm done with getting people on the show that just want to be on it just to be on it, because that comes through when people listen to it. It comes through when you're doing it. And then also I won't throw any names out there, but we've had several people that have said that they'll do it and then don't do the show. And some of those were probably my more desired guests for the show. That probably pretty easy for people to figure out, because I don't know if we've talked about it on air before, but any of the newer one, I guess there's been a lot of new breweries popping up. I'd like to talk to them. I think that's probably where I would go to more. So I'd like to go to I think it's Lost Street.
Yeah.
In one of those fucking towns down there.
Durant.
An old Durant. Them, and is there another new little one? Any of those small town breweries would be my most desired, because those are always fun. The trip out there, not knowing what the fuck to expect in small town Oklahoma, and then typically it's pretty fucking good times. That's what I look forward to.
Yeah, I do what?
Lost Street. I'm trying to think of who else. Has there been another small one other than them?
Well, we've got Scissortail and Dollhouse Road, and there are several. I'm going to go back to Fat Toad when they open their new facility, and I'm positive they'll have us back out with no problem whatsoever. Yeah, there are a bunch, and I'm with you. I at one point had a literal list in my phone of every brewery that was currently open that we had not yet talked to, and several of them who were, I don't mind saying they were larger breweries with a wider distribution and stuff like that, that would agree. And then when you either set it up and try to really follow up and nail down a time and a day, they'd go radio silent or make plans and then cancel plans. I At one point, definitely thought we had to get everybody on the show, especially the big dogs, to quotation fingers legitimize ourselves. Over time, I've realized that's not true. That's not necessary. Look at the Craft Brewers Association of Oklahoma. There are several breweries that I would consider larger breweries that don't participate in that. So, and it doesn't make them any less legitimate. So, if they don't want to be on, fuck them.
Yeah. Having fun anyways. I'm going to throw someone out that's not local or whatever that I would love to talk to on the show. It'd be awesome if we could do it at their brewery. But Evil Twin, I don't know how to say his name. I'll fuck it up, but Jeppy Jarnett, and I can't say the last part. I would love to talk to that dude because that dude on social media is fucking wild, and I know that's a fucking shooting for the moon type thing.
I mean, yeah, I'd love to get Sam Adams on the show. Actual Sam Adams.
Maybe he'd be a little bit. Maybe the Evil Twin dude be a little bit easier than that.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, he's done collabs with some local folks. It's not impossible.
But that was such a big part of the beginning of the show, and just that dude, the way he talks on social media, he does not give a fuck. He'll say shit. It's awesome, and that'd be fun.
Yeah, those are always good interviews when you get someone who's just like, I'm gonna say stuff.
Yeah.
What about just favorite guests, favorite shows we've done, however you want to spin that?
It's another tough one.
Yeah.
There's too fucking many. I mean, they've all been.
Well, here, let me screen share. Look at our list of spotlight episodes.
That would make it way easier. My old brain can't think.
Yeah, I mean, we've done a lot. So starting back at episode 173 with Marshall, and then going, and of course we've been light these last 6 months or so, but going all the way through the last one we did with Vortex and Matt.
Man, I mean, of course, the very, very first one, just because there's so many fucking memories about that one. I mean, it was the first one. We got to talk to Eric. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. Had microphones plugged into both of our iPhones. Being nervous, having Ben come in with the pallet jack and getting bitched at by Eric. That was an awesome fucking time.
Yeah.
God, there's so many.
Right.
Have we done so many fucking of these? Does one of them jump out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like you. I have to look at it from different perspectives and stuff. And of course, I still really fondly remember that first one with Eric. But looking more recently, I really enjoy the rapport we've built with the folks at Core 4 Brewing. Both of those episodes, and then just getting to know them and beginning to develop it like an actual friendship with them. I also got to mention Nothing's Left, both episodes we've done with them, because they are really good personal friends at this point, and have been really. I mean, since pretty much the day they opened their doors. We did a string of what I considered really good episodes last summer, kind of between COVID waves, where we hit up Emerson Ice Brewery, which I know they're my local brewery, so forth here in Owasso, but that episode, weirdly, I was kind of surprised when I was looking at stats. It's one of our highest downloaded episodes.
Right on.
And I think that probably has a lot to do with the curiosity around them. But also, like, they did a good job of co-promoting the episode with us.
The small town vibes, man. Like fuck Vortex Alley. Those episodes always do fucking amazing, especially the videos. And
yeah,
those have been awesome episodes too. Even the most recent one with Dave and Matt on there, and Matt smoking fucking weed on the show and talking about puppies and shit. That was really fun.
Right. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, I don't know. I really enjoyed Erie Abbey. I've enjoyed both of our episodes from Texas, Tups 903.
Rapture. That first time we went to Rapture was fucking awesome. Going out on the farm, looking at the pigs and stuff.
Really cool. And Mitch is another guy that it's I consider Mitch a friend now, and it's an honor. Yeah, I mean, and I mentioned Fat Toad earlier. You talk about just hospitality.
Damn.
To say when we went out there and did our episode with them. I guess it's been a couple of years ago now. Man, they couldn't have been more friendly and stuff. And still, when festivals were a thing, and I know they're coming back, but it's been a minute. Anytime we'd see any of the folks from Fat Toad at festivals, you know, they'd make sure to come up and say hi and talk to us for a minute. And yeah, I'm really excited for their new facility. They should be coming soonish. And I know I just mentioned like half of the Spotlight episodes, and I don't mean to not include anybody. So if I missed anybody that's offended, I'm sorry. But even our socially distanced episodes that we did via Skype and Zoom last spring, the one with Kelsey, you know, from Renaissance, I thought was very informative and kind of added a semi-calm voice to all the shit that was being said everywhere at first.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be easy just to go through this to name all of them, because those even seeing those names as you were scrolling, I was like, oh, that was awesome. Oh, that was fun. I remember doing that. That was fun.
Yeah, I mean,
all of them. It was really good times. Even some of the ones that maybe I look back and weren't my favorite, there were still parts of them that were really fucking cool.
Right, exactly. What about and I'm going to ask this question knowing what my answer is, but what the podcast means to you personally?
Man, it's an awesome creative outlet, and I get to spend time with you. I've known you for fucking umpteen years now, and it's just an excuse to fucking get to either hang out through this or in person doing shit. I don't know. It's also just a nice break from not reality, but break from the everyday grind and whatever. It's just good for the mental, I would say.
Yeah, my answer's in the same vein. It gives me an excuse to hang out with somebody that's been a good friend of mine for fucking over 15 years now, and I don't know at this stage of life how often we would see each other if not for the podcast. But it's also as I was just talking about those Spotlight episodes, it's also helped me make other friendships, improve other friendships, you know, so forth. Beer brings people together, you know, I think, unless you really abuse it, and then it's a problem. But you know, even like Joe, I've known Joe for 11 years now, but it wasn't until we both started going to breweries together and stuff that we really became tight. Yeah, and it's a creative outlet, and it does stroke the ego a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Having folks tell you they listened and liked it, or getting recognized in public and stuff is it's not bad on the ego. So I know this next I'm going to talk first on this next thing, I guess, and then let you add your thoughts. I know one of the things that folks have asked me a lot personally, especially in the industry, is about, oh, do you make money on this? And then I say no, you know, and they say, well, why the fuck are you doing it? So then, and in some cases it's been, well, here's what you could do to monetize it.
Yeah.
Right. I get that. I know that we could probably charge some sort of fee to have folks on. I know that we could get sponsors and advertisers, blah, 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 blah. But to me, the podcast should be honest if we're going to do it. And in order to be honest, I can't tell you, oh, I really like X brewery or Y liquor store or whatever, just because they're giving us however much a month to sponsor or advertise. I don't want to be held to that. And also, like, I just do this because I enjoy it and I want to help promote these local businesses and for all of the other reasons that I just named in the last question.
Yeah.
And you know, whatever. I'm sorry, it would not be a ton of money. We're not going to get rich doing a Oklahoma craft beer podcast at this stage of the game. So whatever money we would make off of it, to me, is not worth the hassle of what would be involved with that.
Yeah, and then like I said in the last one, it would be where I said it's a break from the everyday grind. That would just add to the fucking grind because now you're trying to fucking please people,
Yep.
Advertisers and whatnot, and fuck all that. I do this because I enjoy it, and I don't want to not enjoy it or to stress out over stuff.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a hobby. People have them. This is fucking one of them. We just so happen to go around and talk to people.
Yeah, I think sometimes people think that because we have to buy equipment or travel or pay for hosting rights for the website and the audio files and whatnot, that I don't know, that it must be really stupid of us to not monetize. And I'm just like, well, first of all, some of the equipment's expensive, but the web hosting and stuff is inexpensive, and that's why you see so many podcasts that do 5 episodes.
Yeah, it's probably because so many people out there, that's all they fucking care about. You see it on Twitter and shit all the time too. It's just they get a podcast. It's like, okay, when do I start making money? And it's like, you're not gonna fucking.
Well, you start making money at roughly 50,000 downloads per episode. So get to it.
Yeah. I
don't mean to spoil anyone's impressions of us. We do not get 50,000 downloads per episode.
For a fucking this is
very
neat fucking
market.
Yeah. That's funny.
And I guess on that note, it's kind of we don't have 50,000, but we do have a fair amount of folks that listen to us. Do you remember the first time that you were like, oh, holy shit, people are listening to this? It's our holy shit moment that we ask everyone else.
It has to go back to the very beginning of the podcast when I actually paid more attention to the fucking stats, just looking at them and seeing different countries and weird shit popping up that wasn't just here. And I still think about getting so many people listening in fucking Britain. Was just like, what the fuck? Why are you listening to us? And seeing those different spots on the map, that was just, it was mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think when I realized, which we've since fixed this, but when I realized, I think we had quite a few downloads in every state except we had 0 in Maine, and I think we've now added a few in Maine finally. But the seeing places like California and I remember Washington D.C. being a big hotbed for downloads, and that was always weird. But for me, I had a few smaller ones like what you're talking about, but for me, the first time I was in a liquor store actually, and I had on a Nothing's Left shirt, and I guess it triggered somebody that was watching me shop. Like, okay, he's wearing a brewery shirt. He's in the scene somehow, and then they eventually pieced it together, and and called out my name, and it was like, oh, that's a thing. And then it happened again like a week later at a concert at the BOK Center where someone spotted me from the show. And that was before we were doing video. And that was kind of weird because that meant that they had been like, they were big enough fans of the show that they were following social media, because otherwise they would not have known what I looked like. Certainly not enough to spot me in public.
Yeah, those moments, to be honest, creeped me out at first.
Oh, same. Still does. Depends on how someone approaches it.
Because you don't think about the podcast and shit. You're like, why is this motherfucker looking at me?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? And then
we had one of those moments. Heather and I did a couple of weeks ago, like kind of one of our first forays back out into the world to get dinner. And we're sitting there eating, and somebody in the kitchen keeps poking their head around and staring at me. And it was freaking me out to the point that I like said something to her about it. I was like, "Are you seeing this dude looking at me constantly?" He's like, yeah. I think he recognizes you from the show. And I'm like, that can't be it. And then she's like, look at his t-shirt. Well, it was a High Gravity t-shirt.
Oh,
So
there you
yeah,
go.
that's what it was.
Yeah, shit's weird.
Yep. So what about because we get this question a lot too, thinking about future plans for the podcast, guests, things we're going to change up, whatever. You and I talk about it frequently, but figured we'd give a peek to our listeners slash viewers.
Is this like future plans that we already have set or stuff that we'd like to do?
All of the above, man.
So I've talked about it before. I've changed careers, getting into filmmaking, specifically documentary filmmaking. And we've talked about it quite a bit recently about wanting to do an Oklahoma beer doc. There's several different options we can go for that, doing docuseries or some type of beer history thing, something like that coming up. Doing more stuff like what we just did with Broken Arrow, where we actually go in and brew a beer with them and tell the story behind that. Um, more video stuff. I'm really excited about, and because it's so exciting to both of us, I think that'll come out really good because there's not anything like that really for Oklahoma. There's a few across like the country, but still not that many. And I think that would not only be fun to do, but help promote a lot of these awesome breweries that are here in Oklahoma and these friendships that we found and built over the past several years. All about doing stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree with all that. I don't know that I necessarily have anything to add, other than especially as we visit breweries for the second or fourth time, just trying to change up the format a little bit and
Yeah.
just sit around the table and go free form for an hour. So I mean, for the first 100 and I don't know something episodes, we definitely still talked about craft beer. We drank one in first round. Gave a review, uneducated review, especially initially, but we were getting our feet under us. But the bulk of our show for a long time there was we talked about crazy news stories. We'd find different shit in the headlines about people whacking off in public or whatever. We learned a lot about public masturbation actually, in those early years. I'm curious if you ever miss some of the aspects of that old format.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was fun. Freaking out. Can you believe this dude fucking did this in public? I'm like, what the that used to happen all the time. That shit was happening out there like hotcakes. Just people doing random shit all the time. Random gross shit. And it was fun to talk about it. That shit just got repetitive though. It happened so goddamn much. It was just like, man, someone else fucking did it. And it got old after a while, but absence makes the heart grow fonder or whatever.
Oh, I know, but I think it's once we had that woman who shoved the frozen salami in her vag and like got arrested and stuff, and when they confiscated the salami, half of it had thawed. It was like, where do you go from here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hope you weren't listening to this one with the kids.
Yeah, one of those fucking stories, man.
Yeah.
And then
I miss sound check a little bit too, because that's how
I love check.
I found out about quite a few cool songs from you.
I was just listening to fucking Sunflower Seeds by whatever that fucking dude's name is.
Oh yeah, nice.
That was definitely from Soundcheck, and it's on a couple of my playlists on Spotify.
Yeah.
Bright.
Yeah. We moved in the right direction, and especially
we had to.
Stuff, but yeah, I do occasionally miss it, and sometimes almost wonder if we could just do like a throwback episode or something. I don't know how well that would go over with our current audience, but so yeah, we've driven a lot of places, gone to a lot of towns to do this show and just to get beer lately, where we didn't even record a show. We just talked about it later. Do you have a favorite beer road trip?
I don't want to go with the most recent one, but that one was fucking awesome. just getting to go to all those different breweries that I hadn't been to before in North Texas, plus adding on the Cowboys Stadium. That was awesome. But what was the one where we went the wrong direction? Was that
That
tough?
was 903.
That was 903?
Yeah.
That was fucking awesome. Just because it was so fucking weird. This going through, I guess it wasn't awesome.
It's an experience.
There you go. It was an awesome experience because it was so fucking random. Going way out of the way and then coming back up, going through and seeing the fucking shrine to the fucking Confederacy and being like, don't fucking break down, please. And then getting there, and that in that experience with 903 was pretty cool. I don't know. They've all been fun. I'd probably say my least favorite was Wichita.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Yeah. I enjoyed. I mean, I still enjoyed it, but it didn't.
It was underwhelming compared to expectations. I mean,
the hype killed that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably the most recent one was awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm answering all inclusive, even trips that I've been on that you didn't make, I have a little bit of a different list, like San Diego and Denver.
Yeah.
But if I limit it just to stuff that's been the two of us, or the two of us and other people, I enjoyed North Texas quite a bit. I guess I'm just getting old, and that second day really kicked my ass with the weather driving back and knowing that there was maybe some anxiety at my house and stuff about me being gone.
Yeah.
Kind of fucked with me, but that prevents me from naming that as number one. I think I actually have to go with that trip to Northwest Arkansas. Not.
Which one?
I mean, if I just took Natural State by itself, then yeah, I might put that one number one. But we had a little bit of an issue there trying to get to core, and then the construction at Ozark sucked balls. From an experience standpoint, the drive out to Gottahold and just that whole, like, I don't know. I mean, to be clear, Gottahold was awesome. The people were great. The people were very, very nice. It is an oasis. But the experience of winding through those roads and then seeing the increasing amount of racist paraphernalia and stuff, and realizing how close we were to Harrison, all of that combined, like it's not my favorite because it was just awesome from top to bottom. But man, that's a memorable ass trip.
For sure. That was about the most uncomfortable I'd felt at that point in a fucking minute. Like just that whole, as soon as we crossed into Arkansas, I was like, oh fuck. I hope this trip goes okay. Just being like, fuck it. Gottahold was a slight breath of fresh air in the middle of that. That part was fun. But still, it was just like, fuck, let's get out of here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And we did.
West Arkansas, please.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were some experiences. That's true. Good memories. Fuck. I could feel it like in my chest right now too. Like remembering that drive there and just be like, fuck this.
I just remember thinking, how am I going to explain to his family when we go back home and I don't have him with me?
Good time. Well, yeah.
Memorable times.
There we go. Oh man.
Well, what do I just do? So, if I told you from 2015 that you drink a ton of IPAs now, how many times would 2015 you punch me in the dick and call me a liar?
All of the times. Ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way. Hated that shit. we even did a fucking tournament, and we're just like, man, fuck this tournament. Let's just drink all these that are left and get this shit over with. This shit is gross.
Yeah.
I still can't believe you did that. That's fucking awesome. Let's do a fucking was IPA. Was that IPA Palooza?
Yeah.
Let's do that. And we're just like, nah, no, fuck this. And now, man, delicious. Fucking delicious.
I distinctly remember when we started the show in 2013, and I distinctly remember that one of the first beers we had was, and I think it was Sierra Nevada's Pale Ale, but it might have been one of their IPAs. On the show, and talked about it tasting like pine tree anus and all these things, and just thinking it was the most disgusting thing ever. And I can tell you that as recently as a couple months ago, well, I guess it was probably 4 or 5 months ago now, when I was under a quarantine due to possible COVID exposure, and I used a delivery pickup whatever service to get some beer because I couldn't go anywhere. And I got a multi-pack of Sierra Nevada, and I drank both an IPA and a pale ale from them, and they were fucking delicious. and I just remember in that moment being like, okay, I didn't get COVID, so I got my taste buds. So clearly, I was mistaken back then, and I have come around. Yeah, it's just crazy because I drink a lot of IPAs now, and I mean, I really love the hazies and all the adjuncts and all that good shit. But at this point in my craft beer journey, I like just a fucking clear ass hoppy bite West Coast IPA more than anything at this point. I mean, not more than anything, but more than most beer.
Yeah, there'd be no way I would have thought back in the day that like one of my favorite beers now is fucking Hoptometrist from Rough Tail, and that I'd have probably punched you in the dick if you tried to offer that to me back in the day.
Hoppy motherfucker.
Love that shit now. Drinking it, smelling them, all that.
Oh yeah.
Give me all hops.
It's the last thing I've got. Is there either a brewery or a beer, something that's closed or stopped being distributed here? You know, what do you miss the most out of that kind of stuff?
First brewery that I miss, I've got the Mustang.
Yeah.
They love their beer. Definitely one of the early beers for us on the show. Would have been cool if we could have fucking talked to. That would have been our first interview, right? If that actually would have went through. What is the milk? What was the milk stout? What was it?
Utterly awesome.
That's fucking delicious. I like that strawberry beer, whatever it was called. All that shit. It's really, really, really dug it. That their brewery also makes me want to look more into like the history of the beer and whatever, because there's such a fucking story there. You see that shit all the time in the Facebook groups. People talking back in those days when all those different breweries were in that space, and it's really cool. Definitely missed that one for sure. I don't think a minute about distributing. What about you? Because I know there are.
Mustang would be as far as closed down, but I as far as closed down, I'd also have to throw out Willow's Family Ales.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
The Heath was one of our interviews in the first year or so of doing interviews, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Always enjoyed his stouts, but dude was just a very genuine, nice guy. I know a lot of people,
for sure,
they're on one side or the other of what went down a couple of years ago, and I've gotten to the point where I don't really pick a side anymore. But I miss Willow's. I miss the weird faces on the labels and all that kind of shit.
All that experience was awesome.
Do what?
I can't believe that slipped my mind. Yeah, all that was awesome. Those videos were creepy and really, really fucking cool.
Yeah, and then as far as distributed, man, I know there's a lot that has stopped distributing here in the last couple of years, but the two that jump out the most to me are Evil Twin and Clown Shoes. Both of them were early gateway beers in my craft beer journey and our craft beer journey for that matter, I think. And still, it's one of the reasons to go to Texas, pick up some Clown Shoes. I haven't seen much Evil Twin there, but And then I've got to give an honorable mention because you can kind of still get it. So Tall Grass.
Right on. Yeah, I wouldn't have anything different than those. Evil Twin for sure. I used to, back when I worked out in Owasso, and go next door to that liquor store and pick up a bunch of different types of Evil Twin beer. It was awesome.
They still have it. It's just a few years older. Hashtag Owasso Liquor and Wine.
Matt, I was looking up here too. I don't know if this is for the show, but it looks like they where'd that go? They renewed their Able license, Willows, for another year. It was supposed to expire April of this year, and now it says April of next year. It'd be awesome to see them come back.
Even if it's just at a festival, yeah, I'd love to.
Just let me drink a beer.
Yeah.
Some of that was it multi? What was it called?
Multi-level marketing.
Good stuff. They always had good names too. Like that's another thing. I love cool creative names that also feel like I had some hand in it, just because of it felt. It's from because he was around our age.
Yeah. I felt nostalgic for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything you want to talk about? Any more points we should hit?
No, not that I can think of. That's a lot. It's crazy thinking about a lot of stuff I haven't thought about in a while.
Well, that's the idea of it. Anniversary or milestone, I guess.
Good shit.
Well, then I guess I'll just remind everybody once again, if you're listening to this pretty close to when we drop it, come out to Broken Arrow Brewing. Get you some of This Isn't Sparta, our 300th episode beer. It's dropping the 15th at noon, but it'll probably be on out there for a few days anyway. But the first couple hours, I'll be out there, stickers and glassware for the first couple dozen folks, and come say hi, and I don't know. Cheers.
Maybe get on camera. Maybe you can toast us on camera or something.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, I guess that's going to do it for episode 299. Make sure you come back here in a few days for the 300th. And yeah, thank you for listening and watching and liking our shit on social media and interacting with us. And thanks for drinking good beer, hopefully. Yeah. Michael, close this motherfucker down.
You've just listened to another round of Pub Talk. If you like what you heard today, show us some love all over social media at Pub Talk Podcast. And to continue getting alerts every time we drop an episode, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button before you go. You can also find all you've ever wanted to know about the show and more by heading over to our website, pubtalkpodcast.com. And remember, folks, there's never anything too big or hard in life that you can't handle over a few beers with your good friends. So until next time, just chill to the next episode.
Bye. Bye.